Your first day in prison, the reality no one explains. The first thing you learn about prison is this. It is not loud like the movies. It is not chaos right away. It does not start with fighting or screaming. It starts with waiting. A long, quiet, uncomfortable waiting that makes your chest feel tight, even if you don't know why. You are standing still, maybe sitting on a hard bench, maybe leaning against a cold wall. Your hands might be shaking, but you don't notice at first. Your mouth feels dry. The clock on the wall moves slower than any clock you have ever seen in your life. This is the moment nobody talks about. This is the moment before prison becomes real. You thought the hard part was the arrest. You thought the hard part was the court. You thought the hard part was the sentence. But your first day in prison does not begin with bars closing or doors slamming. It begins when you realize something simple and terrifying. You no longer decide what happens next. Everywhere you look, there are rules you do not know yet. Every sound means something you do not understand yet. Every person around you seems to know something you don't. And the scariest part is not fear. It's confusion. No one explains what is about to happen to you. No one pulls you aside and says, "Here's how today will go." No one tells you what mistakes not to make. No one warns you which small choices can turn into big problems. You are expected to just figure it out. And on your first day in prison, figuring it out too slowly can cost you respect, safety, or peace of mind. Right now, you still feel like yourself. You still remember your bed at home. You still remember the smell of your street, your room, your car. You still feel like a person with a past. Prison doesn't take that away all at once. It does it slowly, step by step. The room you're in smells like disinfectant and old air. Not dirty, just lifeless. The kind of smell that tells you this place has seen thousands of people pass through, and none of them stayed long enough to matter. Your name is called. Not shouted. Not said kindly. Just called. You stand up because everyone else stands up when their name is called. You don't ask questions. You don't want attention. You don't want to look lost. That's lesson number 1 on your first day in prison. Looking confused makes you visible. And being visible is dangerous. You follow instructions even when they don't make sense. You walk where they tell you to walk. You stop when they tell you to stop. Not because you trust them, but because you have no other choice. Your personal items are taken. Not ripped away violently. Just removed like they were never important to begin with. Wallet, phone, keys. Things that made you feel like you had a life outside this moment. They go into a box with your name on it, and that box disappears. And with it, something inside you sinks. You don't panic yet. Your mind is still telling you lies to protect you. This is temporary. I'll get through today. I'll be fine. That's your brain trying to hold on to normal. But prison doesn't work like normal life. In normal life, silence is peaceful. In prison, silence means people are watching. You start noticing eyes. Not staring. Not obvious. Quick looks. Side glances. People checking you without checking you. They're asking questions without words. Who is this person? Are they weak? Are they loud? Are they smart? Do they know how this place works? You don't know it yet, but your first day in prison is already testing you. Not with violence. With pressure. You are told to wait again. This waiting feels different. Now you feel smaller. You realize time belongs to the building, not to you. Minutes stretch. Your legs ache. Your thoughts get louder. You replay mistakes. You replay conversations. You replay the moment that led you here. Everyone does this on their first day. Some people cry quietly. Some people stare at the floor. Some people joke too much because silence scares them. You choose silence. That's another unspoken rule. Talking too much on day 1 is a mistake. Eventually, someone tells you to move again. This time, the door makes a sound. Not a movie sound. Not a dramatic slam. Just a heavy, final click. That sound doesn't echo. It settles. And that's when it hits you. You are not visiting. You are not passing through. You are inside now. Your first walk through the facility feels unreal. The walls are close. The lights are bright but cold. Everything feels designed to keep you awake, alert, and uncomfortable. You see people who look calm, too calm. That's when you realize something important. Everyone here had a first day once. Everyone you pass has already learned the rules you don't know yet. And none of them are coming to explain anything to you. Your clothes feel wrong. Either too loose, too stiff, or not yours at all. You feel exposed even when you are fully dressed. That's because prison takes privacy before it takes freedom. You are told where to stand, where to look, where not to look. And every correction chips away at the version of you that used to make decisions without thinking. This is how prison introduces itself. Not with fear, with control. By the time you are finally told where you'll be housed, your mind is exhausted. You haven't done anything physical, but you feel drained. That's another thing no one explains. Your first day in prison is mentally heavier than any day you've lived before. Because your brain is trying to survive in a place where survival rules are invisible. And you haven't even reached the unit yet. The place where everything really begins. Learning the rules without being taught, extended. After count clears, the unit relaxes, but only a little. The noise level rises again. Chairs scrape softly against the floor. Someone laughs at something small. A few men return to cards. Others sit on their bunks like statues, staring forward, thinking thoughts they will never say out loud. You stay seated on your lower bunk. You are starting to understand something important. Prison does not punish loud mistakes first. It punishes small ones. The kind you don't even realize you're making. A man two bunks down gestures toward the sink area. You using that? You look up quickly. For a second, you don't know what he means. Then you realize he's asking if you're planning to stand up or move. Because movement matters here. You shake your head slightly. No. He nods once. That was not just a question. That was a quiet check. In here, nobody moves into your space without acknowledgement. And you don't move into theirs either. That's how tension stays low. You start noticing how people pass each other. They don't brush shoulders. They don't squeeze through tight gaps. They wait. Space is respect. Back in the outside world, space is casual. Here, it is measured. You watch a small exchange near the tables. Two men speaking quietly. One nods. The other shakes his head once. No raised voices. No anger. The conversation ends in under 20 seconds. You don't know what it was about. But you do know something else. Nobody interrupts. That's another rule. Mind your business. In prison, curiosity can be dangerous. The afternoon moves slowly. There is no clock near your bunk, but you feel time stretching again. Someone from the top bunk above you leans down slightly. You good? The question sounds simple. But it isn't. It means, are you panicking? Are you about to act out? Are you unstable? You answer calmly. I'm good. He studies your tone more than your words. All right. And that's it. That short exchange is your first unofficial approval. You didn't talk too much. You didn't overshare. You didn't ask unnecessary questions. In here, stability earns quiet respect. A sudden loud voice cuts through the unit. Shower rotation. It's not angry, just firm. You look toward the shower area. A few men stand up immediately. No rush. No chaos. There is an order to this. You don't know it yet. And that means you don't move. You wait. You watch who goes first. Who goes second. Who waits without complaint. The worst thing you could do right now is step forward without knowing the rotation. The man across from you notices you watching. First day. You hesitate half a second. Yeah. He nods like he already knew. Just wait till later. You'll get your turn. That's guidance. Simple. Direct. No lecture. That's how information spreads here. Short and practical. You nod once. Appreciate it. And that word matters. Because gratitude in prison is not weakness. It shows you understand position. The unit settles again after showers begin. You hear running water, metal doors opening and closing, laughter from somewhere near the back. It sounds almost normal. And that's the strange part. The normalcy. You expected tension every second. Instead, you're seeing routine. And routine is what makes prison survivable. You begin building a map in your mind. The loud talker at the far table. The quiet reader near the window. The older man who walks slowly but everyone gives space to. There is structure here. Unwritten. But clear. You shift slightly on your bunk and feel the mattress dip thinly under your weight. Comfort is not part of the design. The discomfort keeps you alert. Across the unit, a small disagreement starts to rise. Not yelling. Just a tone shift. You feel it before you hear it. One man stands. Another raises a hand slightly. Then, silence. It ends before it begins. Because here, escalation costs everyone. You realize something powerful in that moment. Prison runs on mutual understanding more than force. Nobody wants trouble. Trouble brings lockdown. Lockdown brings boredom. And boredom is worse than discomfort. Time crawls toward evening. Then comes another announcement. Mail call. Several heads turn instantly. Energy shifts. Mail is connection. Mail is proof that the outside world still remembers you. Names are read. Some people receive envelopes. Some don't. You pretend not to care when your name isn't called. But you feel it. First day. No one knows you're here yet. That realization hits quietly. You are inside. And the outside world is still moving without you. Dinner movement is called shortly after. This time, you feel slightly more prepared. You know where to stand. You know not to rush. You know to keep your tray steady and your eyes calm. Small improvements. Small confidence. Back in the unit after dinner, the lights feel brighter. Evening energy is different. Less structured. More personal. Some people work out in the open area. Push-ups, slow controlled movements. Others sit and write letters. You consider writing. But what would you say? Today was strange. Today was quiet. Today changed everything. None of it feels big enough. Count is called again. You stand faster this time. You know the posture now. Back straight. Hands visible. Eyes forward. You don't fidget. You don't sigh. You don't shift weight. And when the officer passes, you feel something new. Not fear. Control. You are adapting. That's the key to the first full day. Not dominance. Not toughness. Adaptation. After count clears, lights dim slightly. Not fully off. Just softer. The tone of the room changes again. Conversations get lower. Movements slower. You lie back carefully on your bunk. The mattress is thin. The pillow barely lifts your head. You stare at the ceiling. Voices continue around you. Laughter. Whispers. Someone coughing. Metal clinks. Your brain is still racing. But something inside you has shifted. You made it through. Your first chow. Your first count. Your first unspoken tests. Your first silent evaluations. And you did not stand out. In prison, that is a win. But the day is not over yet. Because night in prison brings a different kind of lesson. A mental one. And as the lights dim further and conversations fade, you realize something quietly powerful. The real battle on your first day is not with other inmates. It is with your own thoughts. And those thoughts are just beginning to get louder. The first night changes you. Night in prison does not fall quietly. It settles. Slowly. The housing unit grows dim, but it never becomes fully dark. The lights above stay low, just bright enough for staff to see movement. Shadows stretch across the floor. Bunks cast long lines against the walls. You lie on your back staring at the ceiling. You thought you would be exhausted. You are. But sleep does not come. Because night removes distractions. And when distractions disappear, thoughts grow louder. During the day, you were busy learning. Learning where to stand. learning when to move, learning how not to look lost. Now there is nothing to learn, only time. You hear someone shifting in their bunk above you. The metal frame creaks. A cough echoes from across the unit. Somewhere near the back, a quiet conversation continues in whispers. It feels strange. So many people in one room, and yet you feel alone. That's when it hits you fully. You are not going home tonight. This is not temporary discomfort. This is your reality. The weight of that thought presses down harder than the mattress beneath you. You turn slightly onto your side. The thin blanket barely covers you. The pillow flattens instantly. Comfort is not part of prison design. Discomfort keeps the mind alert. You close your eyes, and immediately your brain replays everything. The arrest, the courtroom, the sentence, the intake doors closing, the housing unit watching you walk in. Every moment loops. Over and over. You open your eyes again. Still here. Still inside. Across the unit, someone laughs softly at something whispered. That laugh reminds you of something important. Life continues here. Even inside. People adapt. They joke. They build routines. That realization feels confusing. How can anyone adjust to this? Then you understand something slowly. They didn't adjust overnight. They adjusted 1 hour at a time. Just like you are doing now. A sudden loud voice cuts through the quiet. Count time. It startles you. Even though you were told this happens at night too. You sit up immediately. Stand beside your bunk. Back straight. Hands visible. Eyes forward. The officer walks through the rows again. Flashlight beam scanning faces. You keep your expression neutral. This is not personal. It is procedure. The count clears. Lights dim again. This time quieter than before. You lie back down. The room settles deeper. Now the whispers fade. The movement slows. The unit enters its night rhythm. And that's when the real mental shift begins. Your mind starts calculating. How many days? How many weeks? How many months? The number feels large. Too large. Your chest tightens slightly. This is where some people panic. This is where some people lose control. But something inside you has already started adapting. You break it down. Not months. Not years. Just tomorrow. Just wake up tomorrow. That's manageable. You breathe slowly. Inhale. Exhale. The air smells different at night. Less disinfectant. More still. You hear someone snoring. Another person turning over. Metal scraping softly. Prison does not sleep deeply. It rests lightly. You glance toward the dim ceiling lights. They remind you that you are always visible. Even in the dark. Privacy does not exist here. That truth settles into you quietly. Your phone is not beside you. No messages. No scrolling. No distractions. Just you and your thoughts. That might be the hardest part. Outside, you could escape discomfort with noise. Music. Television. Movement. Here, silence forces reflection. You start thinking about choices. About consequences. About the path that led you here. There is no one to blame in this moment. Only reflection. And reflection can be heavy. A voice from the top bunk whispers down. You'll get used to it. You don't answer right away. Not because you disagree. But because you are still deciding if that's true. Yeah, you reply softly. He shifts again. First week's the worst. That sentence hangs in the air. First week. So this is just the beginning. Strangely, that thought doesn't crush you. It clarifies things. If this is the hardest part, and you are surviving it, then maybe you are stronger than you thought. You turn back onto your back and stare at the ceiling again. Your heartbeat slows. Your breathing steadies. You begin noticing smaller details. The hum of ventilation. The rhythm of distant footsteps in another unit. The faint buzz of fluorescent lighting. Prison has its own soundtrack. And tonight, you are hearing it clearly for the first time. Minutes pass. Then more. You lose track of exact time. Eventually, exhaustion starts to outweigh anxiety. Your thoughts blur. The ceiling fades slightly. Your body relaxes, just a little. And just before sleep finally begins to take you, one last thought forms clearly. You made it through your first full day. No fights. No mistakes. No disrespect. Just observation. Adaptation. Control. And that's when something shifts permanently. You stop seeing yourself as someone trapped inside, and start seeing yourself as someone learning how to survive inside. That mental shift is everything. Because prison tests mindset more than muscle. Morning will come fast. The lights will brighten suddenly. Voices will rise again. Movement will begin. And tomorrow, the tests will change. Work assignments. Morning routine. Understanding who runs what inside the unit. But for now, as your eyes finally close, one truth settles in quietly. The first night did not break you. It reshaped you. What the first days really teach you. By the time morning comes again, something inside you is different. Not stronger. Not tougher. Just more aware. You understand now that prison is not what people imagine from the outside. It is not constant chaos. It is not non-stop danger. It is routine, structure, observation, and quiet decisions that shape how others see you. Your first day was not about proving anything. It was about learning where to stand, when to speak, when to stay silent, how to watch before acting. The first night was not about fear. It was about acceptance. Accepting that time will move slowly. Accepting that comfort is limited. Accepting that you cannot change where you are, only how you respond to it. And that realization is powerful. Because once a person understands they can adapt, survival becomes possible. You also learn something else. Everyone around you had a first day too. Everyone felt the same uncertainty, the same racing thoughts, the same moment of realization when the door closed behind them. Some adjusted well. Some didn't. The difference was never strength. It was mindset. Prison tests patience more than anything else. Patience with people. Patience with routine. Patience with yourself. As the days begin to stack together, the shock fades. Not completely, but enough that you can function. Enough that you can think clearly again. And that is when the real journey begins. Because surviving the first day is only the beginning. Understanding the system. Finding your place inside it. Protecting your peace in an environment designed to remove it. Those lessons come next. And they change people in ways no one on the outside ever sees. But for now, one truth stands clear. You walked in uncertain. You made it through the unknown. And you are still standing.